Disruption is a very talked about and some say even hyped phenomenon these days. And why is it relevant to education? Well, in my mind, I think education systems have always had to change to reflect the society that we're in. University education has 500 years behind them, so of course they have changed over those years. But the new thing today, I think, is the fact that education has to reflect a world that's changing much faster. So it's the pace of change that is new, and it's also the fact that people live longer, so they will have to have education for several different careers over their lifetime. And dealing with that is really very new, and it's going so quickly that I think it's very relevant to talk about disruption to the education system. And therefore, I also think that this conference is very timely.
I thought this morning's seminar is very appropriate, relevant, and timely too. Because disruptive innovation is creating changes in many industries, and education is one area that is going to be disrupted, already been disrupted big times. So a forum like this is very useful, where you can get industry leaders in the educational field to share what are the issues that are going to hit this particular industry of education.
I think it's absolutely very important to have this discussion, because education itself is undergoing a lot of disruption, and particularly with digitalization and how people learn, the pedagogy that we need to employ to our learners. I think all these aspects of disruption will come because of all these changes.
I think it's so relevant to talk about disruption in education because we all know that the model is changing very, very fast. But however, we need to be open-minded, and we also need to be accepting of risks and also not having a map. Because currently, I think we are victims of our own success. It's very hard for very successful institutions in Singapore to say, well, we want to try something different. Because if it fails or is not considered successful, then people say, well, it was going so well, and then you went off and you did this and look what happened. But the fact is that we need to ask ourselves, if we don't disrupt, the question is, at what cost?
I think it's really very important for the different stakeholders of education, be they the university provost or the people who are in the industry running the universities, the students themselves, as well as even teachers and educators, to come together and listen to what the industry is speaking to us, as well as what we can do to continue to provide better services and value adding to this whole business of growing people and their potential.